if it gets boring, I'm afraid I haven't got any slides, I haven't got a computer, because as I say, I've got 400 animals, and they take all the money, so I'm very, very basic, just like me. Yeah, well, at the moment, I'm in the middle of trying to break a world record for the animals, and that world record is to be the fastest woman to go to each continent and complete a marathon, as well as the polar ice cap, which is supposed to be the worst one. So I've got that one out of the way. I won that one in April, and I broke the record for the fastest woman ever to run a marathon at the North Pole, basically. Thank you very much. I didn't actually just break the record, but I came top 3 amongst the men as well, which I have to say, it didn't go down too well amongst a lot of the men who were there for kind of bragging rights and whatever, that a woman, and a vegan woman at that, carrying a teddy bear, beat them. Yes, thank you, that person. When I went to the North Pole, I didn't really intend to do this world record, but a lot of the guys out there had seen me run, and they said, you know, you should really try this if it's at all possible, because it's something that you could, it's well within your compass. It's not something I would choose to be doing for myself. I'm purely doing it to promote veganism in a positive, proactive way that I hope the press and the media can't avoid or twist or manipulate into some sort of negativity. I want to do the races, I want to do well in them, and I want to prove that not only as a woman and a practically lifelong vegan woman, I've got the strength to do this and endure this. And there are lots of aspects that are making it very difficult for me, in that I can't afford to be away from the animal sanctuary that I run for very long. So for instance, I had to go to Australia there and back in less than 5 days. The travelling time was 28 hours each way, and I kind of had to roll off the plane, run the marathon, and then just roll back on it and come home, which was really, really tough. But it's another aspect to proving that a vegan diet is in no way prohibitive to endurance, stamina, whatever you want to do. I mean, even for people who said to me, oh, I'd like to go vegan, but I travel a lot, so it's not possible. Even breaking down that kind of idea, every little thing I can grab at to show that it can be done, and all that you're giving me is excuses, not reasons, and that's why I'm doing this. I decided to do the record quite late. There is only obviously one North Pole marathon a year, and there's 2 at the Antarctic, and I selected to do this record in between the North Pole one in April and the Antarctic in November. I didn't decide to do it until quite late. Basically, to be honest with you, I couldn't afford to do it. It's very, very expensive. And as I saw time slipping away, I've got to make a decision. Do I try for this or not? My mum, who's at the back there, she decided that they were going to, my mum and my dad decided that if necessary, they would remortgage their house for me to be able to do this, because they thought it was such a positive thing that I could do for the animals, and it was making me extremely miserable to miss an opportunity which I thought would benefit them. So it's been a bit of a last minute thing. I've already run the Europe leg, the Australian leg, which was always going to be a very big ask, and the Asian leg, which I did in Omsk in Siberia. And I've run 3 marathons in 6 weeks, and despite the fact that I'm not actually racing these races because I'm really pacing myself, I've come placed in them all, and I've run them all on the London Marathon Championship qualifying time, and that's 3 marathons in 6 weeks. So, and I'm not even finishing tired. So that is what I'm trying to do, just to show that, you know, it's not just going to a continent and getting around the marathon. I want to show that I can be competitive, no matter how much time span I've got, because my diet is superior, I suppose, or it's least worth giving a look at. And I'm hoping that what I'm doing anonymity of it. I don't like these kind of things that you get in the paper, you know, some celebrity will say, "Ooh, I went vegan and it nearly killed me," or "My skin started dropping off when I went vegan." Any diet can be managed improperly or properly, and there's absolutely no reason that a lifelong vegan diet cannot be the most wonderful thing and beneficial, and it's not prohibitive in any way to any sort of performance issues or anything like that. So that's been kind of another motivation to what I'm doing. But I have to say, and it sounds like a bit of a cliche, but at the end of the day, the only motivation I honestly need is thinking about helping the animals, any animals that I might be helping by doing what I'm doing. The current challenge, I go to America on Friday to run in Atlantic City. I come back, I'll run in Casablanca the fortnight after, and then I have to go to Chile and run in a volcano, and then go to Antarctica. I don't know, not a live volcano, I'm not expecting it to erupt, but I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not particularly enjoying it. I don't particularly enjoy running at all, but I figure that it is benefiting the animals, and I'm starting to get a little bit of mainstream publicity. Okay, everybody laughs about it, you know, Woman's Own and Top Santé, magazines like that, but it is hitting the market that I want to get to, the general public. Because everybody here is kind of converted and we know why we're here, but they don't, and it's just an interesting story for them. It might make them go away and think, oh, you know, there is something in that woman in that article I read about. And these are the kind of magazines that get passed around and people do discuss. So hopefully the message is getting out. And each time I run a marathon, the publicity thing is growing. America have always said that they want to press conference will be there, talking about the veganism. So I do hope that it is benefiting the, to use a better phrase, voiceless animals, because the ones at my sanctuary are safe. They're always going to be safe. I'm always going to look after them and I'm always going to love them. But there are only 400 there. That's all I can look after them. I can't do anything for the ones that are stuck in a factory, farm, or a cage, or some atrocious place. I can't do anything but do this to help them. And that's why I've always tried to do, I suppose, off-the-wall things. Like, you know, people know that I'm in the fire brigade. I was the first woman in my section to be, you know, retained firefighter. And it's given me that opportunity to say, actually, I can't use that because I'm a vegan, or I can't, you know, eat that product. And it's given another angle of, you know, a group of people that probably wouldn't normally have to consider veganism, like fire savers, have had to think about my needs as equal needs. And that's always been quite important to me, to just introduce in a kind of softly way the fact that I do believe this. As much as some people have religious beliefs, this is the belief that I've always carried, that it is wrong to harm any creature on this earth, and especially for your own benefit or just your own desires, or you like it or you think it's all right. So that's why I'm, as I say, hacking my way through these marathons all around the world at the moment, and trying to fit in caring for the sanctuary animals as well, because another problem I've got with the recovery and what I'm doing is I'm not just running a marathon at the other side of the world. I'm literally having to come home, get in the front door and let my partner Martin go to work so that I can then look after the animals and take over for me, because he's working around the time schedule of holidays. So it is quite a stressful and strenuous regime, but as I say, I will be glad when it's over. But if I can bring a world record home for the animals on the 22nd of November, then I shall be more than delighted, I have to say. It'll all be worth it. And I can say that I do influence people. I do say I'm very proud that one of the guys that I shared the tent with in the marathon, Salvo, has gone vegan and actively promoted the fact that he's gone vegan after seeing me running that race, sharing a tent with me and listening to what I've got to say. And also, in that particular race, which is 7 days in the Sahara Desert, self-sufficiency, you carry your own supplies, they do allow people to send you messages of support, which they give to you if they can get around the camp, because the weather conditions can be very bad in the Sahara Desert. Some days it's not possible to leave the tent, it just blows down, the sand everywhere. But on the days they can, they'll deliver the messages to you at your tent. You can read them at night. And I was getting like 10 pages of messages. Some of the guys weren't getting anything. And that was 100 mouths to feed and I've got a sanctuary in Russia, I can't be bothering what I'm having. So as long as there's calories in it and it's going to stoke me up for the next day and allow me to get up at 3:30 and allow me to do what I do, I really am not bothered what I have. I don't buy any supplements. I don't have any fancy products. I don't have any gels or training regimes, or I don't have any physiotherapists or massagers, or I don't really have anything. I mean, I just get out and run. I mean, you know, or get out and do what I've got to do. And when I've been training for the long distance, I'm not an ultra runner. I mean, I live that, that's just not my remit at all. But when I did the marathon at Starbuck, literally there aren't daylight hours to care for the animals. So I figured, right, if you want to run, when do you run? You run in the middle of the night, so you get yourself a head torch. And so at midnight on Christmas Day, I'd be going out with my head torch on and my tinsel in the air, trying to make light of the situation, which was pretty grotesque, and doing 4 hours of running. And that's what you've got to do. And I always say to someone, if you want to do something badly enough, generally speaking, you will find the time to do it. And I do want to do this badly enough, but I'm not selfish enough to want to do it badly enough for myself. I purely want to do it to do something proactive, positive,